Olivia Rodrigo's debut album Sour came out this week, and my 14-year-old nieces won't stop listening to it. Since I'm the one who pays for our Spotify family plan, I have also decided to give it a go. And damn, oh damn, it's good to be trapped inside a metaphorical campus locker for once. Olivia's songs mainly featured teenage hurt, about how a teenage girl finds it difficult to adjust to her environment and get over a past lover successfully. To which I'm only discovering right now was inspired by actual events. It was utterly mushy and sad, but good for her. She's already acquired her driver's license. The reason I'm talking about her in this video is that she's definitely going to be an icon for teenagers belonging to Generation Z. And today we'll be talking about a teenage figure that influenced a ton of millennials since its release in 2005. However, this icon isn't a singer nor a real person to start with, but a protagonist in Stephenie Meyer's romantic vampire book series, The Twilight Saga. And of course, the said protagonist is named Bella Swan. Bella Swan is one of the characters many teenagers looked up to, but would realize in hindsight how cringeworthy she actually is once these teenagers reach the age of 20. If Olivia's album is titled Sour, then bland is the appropriate taste to describe Bella Swan. As proof, Kristen Stewart, the actress who played Bella in the Twilight Saga movie adaptation, was often poked fun of through memes because of the inexpressiveness of her face. But that doesn't mean Kristen Stewart doesn't have a range in acting. In fact, she just proved that she could play a character with no character to begin with. In terms of her gestures, Bella is known to be clumsy, but not clumsy in a cute way, but clumsy in an "I don't really care if I crash a motorcycle or fall off a cliff cause a hunk would probably save me" kind of clumsiness. Mainly because that's what actually happens for the most of the Twilight Saga. These traits make Bella Swan the worst role model for teenagers depicted in popular teen fiction. So parents, be thankful that your teens look up to Bella Porch and not Bella Swan. Because at least Porch's face and personality are way more expressive than the latter. May it be in a 15-second TikTok video or a full-blown music video. But aside from her general blandness or dullness, what are the other reasons she's the worst role model for teenage girls? Well, this is where the more serious stuff gets in. First of all, let us talk about major life decisions. At the age of 14 to 17, teenagers tend to be more curious and start wondering what they could be in the future. This is the time when they'll inevitably answer the question, what am I supposed to do for the rest of my life? For Bella Swan, she aspires to be an immortal vampire. Why? Maybe because you won't have to worry about your life's purpose if it doesn't have to end. Just kidding. It was because he fell in love with Edward Cullen, her handsome schoolmate who turns out to be a part of a family of vampires. At first sight, Bella was immediately fascinated by Edward. Edward seems to reciprocate the feeling by giving Bella sharp, lingering stares, but he's just actually attracted to the smell of her blood. So basically, Bella falls in love with a guy who likes the scent of his blood. How romantic. The appeal is pretty understandable for teens disgusted by the sight of her blood once a month. In the first installment of the saga, another vampire named James preyed on Bella just for sport. And when James was about to get Bella, Edward comes to the rescue. After that, she asks Edward if she could be a vampire herself, which made saving her from a vampire attack utterly useless. However, Edward refused. She wanted to be a vampire to preserve her youth. For as a mortal, she would definitely grow old while Edward stays young. But how sure is Bella that the relationship wouldn't end? Her parents are literally separated. Her 17-year-old idealism is just astounding. And later on, she would meet Jacob Black, a native Quileute who turns out to be a werewolf. Several pages later, she's already hooking up with him. Props to Bella Swan for being faithful. Now, this is where hard criticisms towards her character come in. Twilight was described as the franchise that ate feminism by the Guardian critic David Cox. He wrote, "Bella's fate isn't only dispiriting, it's also deceptive, on the whole, beguilement by a teenage bad boy. However, curtly his manner doesn't lead to eternal love, nor is self-abnegation a reliable route to bliss. It's therefore understandable that some have questioned the merits of Twilight's message for womankind." David Cox via The Guardian, July 12, 2010. It is true and imminent throughout the Twilight Saga how Bella is over-dependent on Jacob and Edward. It shows how she's unable to deal with her problems and insecurities alone. So why is Twilight often talked about as a series that empowered teenage girls to decide when the protagonist herself fails to do so? Her overdependence on Jacob and Edward was ultimately shown in the climax of Twilight Saga, Eclipse, as the two men argue over what's best for Bella, as if she cannot make up her own mind. This is what David Cox described as the epitome of submissive passivity. Given the fact that Bella has established romantic ties to both men, to Stephanie Meyer's defense to those who accuse Twilight of not being feminist and portrayal of a negative empowerment of women, she says that Bella's blunder was indeed a doing of his own. It is like saying that a person could screw up her life if she's empowered enough to do so, and everything a woman does counts as feminism. But is it really what you want your teenage girl to learn? That it's okay to be abused? To let a bad boy tell him who they should be? To let him gaslight her until she is completely gone to the dark side? To let other men decide for her as long as she permits it to happen? As long as, monsters fall head over heels for her? Because it's empowering to see abusers unable to function without you, the abused? Oh, the things you could learn from Bella Swan. The Twilight Saga has been consumed chiefly for escapism and not as a Bible for teenagers to follow in their daily life. But we must and cannot discount the problems and questions it brings up. At some point, it has undoubtedly affected its readers and audience at a subconscious level. So, instead of reading into Bella's adventure of supernatural abuse, why not delve into the real empowering struggles of the March sisters in Louisa May Alcott's Little Women instead? Which was, by the way, we have talked about in another video. So you might want to check that out. If you have any thoughts or suggestions, don't hesitate to leave a comment below. And if you love this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel. As always, this has been Flick and Chips.